Welcome to the Jedi Ranger. I'm JohnBurry555, and today I'm continuing my 10th anniversary reviews of Star Wars Rebels. Today I'm reviewing Season 2, Episode 20, The Mystery of Chopper Base, which aired on DisneyXD 10 years ago on March 23rd in the year 2016, which, as I said, was 10 years ago. So this episode picks off where Episode 19, The Forgotten Droid, finished, and that being they're setting up the new base on Attilan, and of course it's named for Chopper. Honestly, I'm surprised Chopper didn't act more egotistical in the episode. He did in Rebels Recon, but that's a whole nother thing. Honestly, they do have only one bit, and Chopper's just mad that there's no merchandise of him on the shelves in the Lucasfilm offices, so that's the one bit they did. But going back to the episode itself, warning, spiders. Well, not spiders, there's only 6 eggs, and Rebels Recon revealed that they did that because it's easier to animate 6 than 8. And actually, the Attilan spiders, as I'm going to call them, because that's practically what they are inspired by Ralph McQuarrie concept art for Dagobah. I'm just going to say, I do not like spiders. In Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, I do not like going into the sections of Kashyyyk where you will face spiders. I do not like that. Please, no. I'm not a big fan of spiders, especially big ones. Ugh. I understand spiders are important, but stay out of my way and we'll be fine. And of course, the spiders that are infesting Attilan are aggressive, predatory. They likely ate one of the rebel pilots, Lieutenant Dyson, who we never see again. They rescue Rex, but they don't rescue her. So yeah, she could have been alive somewhere, but yeah, they didn't have any. They got Rex and they were swamped, so they had to get out of there quickly. So yeah, and Ezra couldn't connect to them with the Force. They're impervious to blasters. You pretty much have to shoot their eyes or use a lightsaber. But what does work to keep them away are the sensor beacons they set up to monitor for trespassers. Probably most Imperial spies in that. So at the end of the episode, they set up a very big perimeter of them around the base just to be safe. And yeah, that's probably a good idea. But that's just the event of the episode. There's a very important thing going through on. At the beginning of the episode, we see Kanan training Ezra because they're planning on confronting the Inquisitors. Kanan's thinking that as long as the Inquisitors are hunting them, the rebellion will never be safe, which is honestly kind of true. And so he's training and he's prepared as soon as Ahsoka returns that they're going to leave. And of course, that does cause some, melancholy in the episode, some tension as well. Hera doesn't want them to leave, especially for obvious reasons, considering we know that she and Kanan are a couple. They haven't made it official yet, but come on. So that's an underlining current throughout, and you can see that with a lot of characters' interactions, where where Hera and Sabine, Zeb don't really want them to, even Ezra doesn't want to leave. Kanan's the only one who thinks that it's going to be best for them to leave and confront the Inquisitors and deal with that before helping the rebellion any further. And let's be real, getting rid of the Inquisitors is probably actually a good thing for the rebellion. And this is all setting up the next episode, which is the season finale. It's actually a 2-part episode. I will be covering them together because that's how they aired. But we'll talk about Twilight as Apprentice next week. But this entire episode, the stuff with Kanan and Ezra, there's a subtle thing setting it all up, and that includes some ominous music, kind of almost Dark Side-esque, near the end of the episode as they're getting ready to leave, which I think is very deliberate to help us put us into that mindset, to help us prepare for things are about to get dark. And, well, we all know what happens in Twilight of the Apprentice. You can even tell by the name, Twilight of the Apprentice. Well, we also have 10 years of hindsight as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if 10 years ago people were speculating. I wasn't doing my own speculations for Star Wars Rebels yet at this time. I didn't start that until season 3, halfway through season 3. But I wonder how many people thought it was going to be something impacting Ezra rather than Ahsoka. Again, that's wild speculation on my part, but I really don't remember everything from 10 years ago. Once we get into season 3, that's going to be when I'm a lot more active and I can start referencing my own stuff. But honestly, this episode is setting stuff up. That's ultimately what it is doing. And it's also showing that the rebels have established their base. So that's important as well, because that's going to play a role in season 3 as well. Near the end. So that's pretty much what I got to say. There's not too many things here, except for I do want to say this episode has some great sunset scenes, two of them. One with Ezra and Zeb. Zeb goes out to a section of the base, brings his chair, listening to some tunes, just watching the sunset, and Ezra comes over to join him. And then there's another scene right before Kanan and Hera leave. Oh, before I phrased that wrong, but Kanan and Hera hugging each other right before Ahsoka, Ezra, and Kanan leave for Malachor. But that's also a very emotional scene in hindsight, because I know what happens on Malachor. I know what happens to, spoilers, Kanan's eyes on Malachor. That's the last time, spoilers, until Kanan's death, that Kanan sees Hera with his own eyes. Yeah. So that scene becomes more impactful near the end, and it's a sunset too. And sunsets are beautiful, but they can also symbolize the setting on a previous era. Luke watching the the binary sunset on Tatooine in New Hope. His life as a farm boy is over. He's entering a new life as an adventurer and all that. He's still got a little bit more to go, but that's what that's symbolizing. He's at that turning point. His life is changing. The sun is setting on his own life. Here, the sun is setting on Kanan's literal eyes. You could say that, and I will say it. And I can talk about other examples in Star Wars. Honestly, the Bad Batch has a great sunset, but I don't remember if that was setting on anything particular or just a beautiful scene, which it was, mind you. It really was. But I just want to say that there is symbolism involved with that second sunset. The first one, not as much, but definitely has some of that same connotation because of what they set it up to represent. The Bad Batch one is more of peace. Rather here, in A New Hope, things are changing. So just some little interesting stuff to show that I noticed and I am interpreting in my review. But you know what? You can let me know your thoughts, your interpretations of that, and anything else in this episode in the comment section down below. And I hope to see you next week when I talk about Twilight of the Apprentice, because there's a lot to talk about that episode. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.